What's up, everybody? Welcome to Clutch's Corner. This is going to be a big video. This is actually my second time recording it. It is currently 5 a.m., July 1st, and we have brand new candles getting ready to open for anything, for everything, I mean. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. And I'm going to start things off with a daily since, you may be catching this video in the morning before the day session starts. So let's go ahead and get into beginning here. We have BBY, which has major exhaustion on that candle, especially since it's closing lower than, what it opened as. You can see that we have an old trend line here that we were having some trouble getting above it here. Now it looks like we might be rejecting that back to the downside on a bigger scale of things, which is really nice. We're going to zoom into the 30-minute time frame to see where potential pivots could be found. And as you can see, we find them right here on the bottom of this two, right here on the bottom of this one, and then of course the low of that day. Right in here, we can see that we have a lot of activity crossing through this area, switching sides over and over again. And then right in here, we have that same thing where it's just having a little bit of trouble, tries again, finally gets out of there, and then we can see it wicks off of it right again in here as well. Just barely passing it, but that's just an algorithm triggering a little bit later as we discuss. And that is where PT2 is going to be coming from. So we'll see what happens with this. And I do want to stress that this is the beginning of the monthly, weekly, and quarterly candles along with daily candles. So when the market opens up, you're not going to have time frame continuity unless it's a 6 month candle or a yearly candle that you're looking at. And well, even the 6 month candles are brand new as well. So you're only gonna have year candle time frame continuity. So there's a lot of things right now that are potentially going to have jumps into what could be stop loss areas, actionable signal stop losses areas. You don't just chase those in that direction because it could very easily end up another failed two and so on and so forth. So we'll see how the market opens up for these things. Next thing that I have my eye on is AMD, which as we can see was staying above this for the most part. Had a day where it broke down and it got right back above, fought to get below, couldn't get below this. But now we're wicking off of this trend line up here and working right off of that. And it looks like we might want to shoot back down and come test out these lows again. This is setting up a 2-1-2-2 reversal where we're looking for this next two to break down here and come take out price targets to the lower side. And I'm going to zoom into the 30-minute time frame to see where potential pivots are going to be found. Right in here, the first one, and as we can see, if we work our way across, we can see that there's a lot of action in this area bouncing to the upside. Second one right in here, where same thing, even though all the way over here to this area, we can still see that there's a lot of bouncing, even if it's a slight bounce. It went and it hit there, and then it bounced up off of it. And here it finally broke through. So we'll see what happens next time we get down there. And then right in here, we can see all of this is having a lot of trouble around this. It's a purple trend line. It's a royal trend line. That's what I call them. So this is a very important one. So we can see we try to stay above it here. This is where the price target's coming from. Tried again, finally broke through it. Had its little fun dance down here and then got right back above that with a little false break. And then it retried again, and then they couldn't break through that trend. And then boom, remember support and resistance. It's not just horizontal. It can be diagonal as well. And that's what trend lines and that's what broadening formations are. So that's where all these price targets are coming from. Fourth price target right in here, where we can see all this congestion starts to happen and bouncing off of the same price. And then, of course, the low of that final two. So that's AMD, what we're looking for. And we'll see if it gives it to us. Crowd is already in pre-market. Look at this purple, or excuse me, this orange line for pre-market. Where did purple come from? I don't know. Leave me alone right now. It's 5 a.m. This is my second time recording this. This is a beautiful fail two that we have on crowd. We started here, we pushed up, made a new high, and then we're like, yeah, we're done with that. Ended up being a beautiful fail two. We're close to entry and price targets are going to be found in this area. Why do price targets extend beyond just the previous candle? Because of the range that this candle could potentially have. This candle can move about this much, right? So its price targets are going to go beyond just this price target. So that's where we get these exterior ones from. And then we're gonna zoom into the 30-minute time frame to see where those pivots could be happening at. A little bit easier to see right here. Of course, that first one right in there, we can see all of this having that congestion. Second one right in here, same thing. Third one right in here, bouncing to the downside of this area. And the fourth one is that low of that daily candle. Crowd can be expensive on the option chain, so you want to get something that's further out, closer to the later price targets on the strike prices, and it won't be as expensive. Just make sure that your spreads are good. Make sure you have good Greeks as well. Next, XOM, which this is what I'm saying, why you don't want to just like chase calls if it breaks, because this thing, I mean, this is not like a good fail two at all by any means necessary. But this is a beautiful fail two. If it breaks to the upside and it does trigger the actionable signal stop loss, I'm not going to chase calls on them. I'm going to wait for an actual signal. And if it does end up breaking down a breaking entry, then we know exactly where it can go. And we're using the 30-minute time frame to start things off and find where those potential pivots could be at. Right here off of this failed two, and look at this, how all in here has trouble getting and staying above this area. It's because there's an algorithm there. The second one right in here, you can see all this choppiness through. The three is working off of this exact same area. Bottom of this one, where we can see all of this is just wicking through, wicking through, wicking through, wicking through. Can't get below this algorithm. And then the final one being right here and right here off the bottom of this three, where we can see the algorithm in this section kind of all kicking off in this. Remember, all threes by themselves pretty much have an algorithm, the high and the low of it, because they are threes. So there was something to push it down, and also something to push it up right when it got there. Next, Tesla. Oh my gosh, Tesla has such a nice little exhaustion on it after just booming up. And remember, we had it on the watch list here. We had it on the watch list here. This thing, we even had it on the watch list here. If you've been taking Tesla from my watch list, you've been crushing it. Today, pre-market Tesla is looking like you might want to bust to the upside. That's okay. We're not going to chase it. We're going to wait for a proper actual signal, and then we're going to take that. If it does break through entry, though, then price targets are found on the 30 minutos. Low right in here, low of this two, low of this two. And this is just more of a classic case of steps where you can see where some real obvious swing lows were, some swing lows. We had a double right in here, and that ended up being the low of this two, and then the range beyond that to capture those next two price targets. I'm not going to really chase Tesla all the way to the bottom of this. So that's why just right around here, nice little $4 or $5 movement, we'll be good to go to exit that trade and capitalize without trying to chase that to the ends of the earth. Shout out to all my T-Mobile holders out there. I'm an AT&T user myself, sorry. But we are looking at this beautiful fail two in here. Now we'll see if it triggers or not. It is pre-market wise up whereas yesterday's open was. So we'll see what happens in the next few hours before it can open up. And going to the 30 minutos, we can see the low right in here, low here, low here, and that was off of a daily right in here, boom, off of that failed too. So this is just more of a classic case of steps, right? Where this candle was just this day was just very bullish, right? So it's just a green candle after green candle. When this happens, you're not going to see a lot of algorithms in this area, so you're just going to go to where people are more than likely going to have their stop losses, right? And if you were in calls, right? Every time there was a green candle, you're going to move your stop loss up to the bottom of that candle. Goes green. Okay, well, I'm going to be here. And if this breaks below that, I'll get out of the trade. It doesn't. It keeps going. So you stay in the trade. Okay, if this candle breaks down beneath this, I'll get out of the trade. It doesn't. It keeps going. You stay in the trade. So these are areas where people are going to say, hey, if it breaks beneath this, then get me out of my calls, right? Or protect the position, which is where it can pivot from. So we'll see what happens with TMUS, and we're going to make our way over to PayPal. Now, PayPal, I'm really wanting PayPal to hit. I'm trying to make some money on PayPal. I like PayPal. I like the way PayPal looks. I wonder how many times I'm gonna say PayPal until I get PayPal about a PayPal. That didn't hit the way I thought it would. Yeah, so we've got some beautiful charts on PayPal. This off of bottom of the trend here. Finally, we broke through that. We retested it. We pushed to the downside. We were staying above this trend, but now we're pushing right back down. So the strength of the bears is strong within PayPal. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but we're going to find some price targets off of the 30 minutos for PayPal. I don't know what's happening. As we can see, massive wick to the downside off of this candle and then shot right back up. So got to zoom in even more besides the 30. We're going to go to the 5 and we're going to see where some things are for the 5 minute. And this is how I find my price targets in a moment like this, right? Going down to the 5 minute, I can clearly see where there are some lows in here, right? A little bit easier to see, but then there's a big gap with this area, and I kind of wanted to see if there's something else in there. So I did go to the 1 minute. I did go to the 1 minute because I want to see and I want to know, is there a spot where it can pivot from, or is it just a straight candle? And it's not right in here. And then look, when I put this right here, look at how it had trouble kind of getting up to this area. Once it finally did, it broke through, but even right in here, it wanted to break down and get beneath it again. So I'm going to be paying attention to that at PT1. And if we break through it, then yay, we break through it. If we don't, we start bouncing off of it. I know why, because I was able to zoom in and get the information, the data that I needed in a moment where there was just a wick on a candle of a larger time frame. Moving into Oxy. Now, Oxy, this is another reason why, if it just breaks to the upside, you don't just chase it because this is a failed two and a failed two back to back, right? If this opened up here and you were like, hell yeah, calls, brother, you lost. You lost heavy. If the next time it broke to the top side, if you were like, oh, let's do calls again, I'll make it right back, you lost all over again. So sorry. I'm sorry. This is why you need to trade actual signals, why the strat should be your foundation for everything that you do trading wise, right? Stop loss, entry, zooming into the 30 minutos to find some price targets. Bam, first one right in here. We can see all this contention happening in this area. Second one at the bottom of right here in this spot. Third right in here, we can see these areas are wicked through, which means that it did not, like wicking through means that it crossed through, but it didn't finish beneath this area. So this could be an important fighting spot, and in the bottom of that too, right in there. So that is, I believe, all of the dailies. So, have those charted out, get ready for that. And let's have some fun. Let's go ahead and move now into the weeklies. Weeklies, we're going to start things off with the Dollar Tree. I know I shopped here a lot when I was a kid. When I wanted to impress my girlfriends. And I'd just buy a bunch of stuff for them from the Dollar Tree. Like, yeah, now we make money off of it. And it's a beautiful thing. So we got a 2 down, 1, 2 down. Not quite a fail, but let's look at this candle right here, guys. Who has control of this candle? It's clearly not the sellers. The buyers have control of this weekly candle right in here. And if they continue that control, then we're looking for it to break through the upside and start taking out some price targets, right? Those price targets are going to be found obviously at the high of this 1 and the high of this 2, completing the 2122 rev. But we're going to zoom into the daily time frame to find the other ones right in here, right in here. And I did end up zooming into the hour to see if there were other potential pivots that were worthy of paying attention to. And I did see these right in here, because look at all this congestion that's happening in this spot. And then right in here, because look at how it's congesting at the bottom. So there's going to be like a battle of the algorithms between these two spots right here, potentially. And we can see that happening all in this. So that's the first weekly that I'm looking at. DLTR, looking spicy, looking good. Nom noms. Next, making our way to PEP, very promising. Liking the way that this looks. This is my favorite actionable signal. If you don't know, I do say it all the time. The 2122 revs are beautiful. They are so, so amazing. So we're looking to take this a breakage to the downside. Price target here at the bottom of the two, bottom of the one, and then we're going to find one more on the daily right here. So I think we're going to have a pretty smooth sailing on the way down to this spot. And if we do break through here, we're going to come test this out, or we have these two candles wicking through, finally breaking through here and testing out the bottom where this candle could not go any more lower. So PEP looks very good. NIM for all the smaller accounts out there, anybody looking to test things out. Remember to buy these contracts in the money. That way you can really get the value out of them that you want. No point in buying a $7 contract and taking it to $14 and bragging about 100%, where you could buy a contract for $60, take it to $120, and actually really make some money off that 100%. So yeah, this isn't the greatest build too, I'll be honest with you, right? I don't like how it has this large wick on the bottom, but dailies can be found right here and right here. And this final one is right here based on the range that it could do. I think that it could end up closing this gap and coming and testing that low out on the daily. So that is a big of a stretch, but it is entirely possible for it to do that based off of its range. Next is CVX, and man, it looks so good, but we'll see what happens because oil, and especially the first of the month, everything decoupling, we'll see what happens, right? We will see what happens. But this actionable signal looks great. It's not quite a failed two, but this is super exhausted pen bar right in here. We're going to zoom into the daily to find where price targets are. We can't ignore this one because it shot to the downside, hit here, and then it just kept going. So we'll see if maybe that's happening again, right? Maybe that's happening again on the weekly if it breaks through the top side again. Maybe it's just doing this. But maybe the daily will trigger in a little bit of an early entry for the weekly PT1. PT2 is right here where this wicks it, this wicks it, this wicks it to the downside. This finally breaks through it. PT3, PT4, and then PT3. You can see where these are wicking through it, finally breaking through, but then just staying stuck there at the top side and then going right back up. So that's CVX. Next is American Airlines. Shout out to all the people working at American Airlines. Share with me a free flight sometime. Why not, right? Hey, I like places. I like going places. All right, so yeah, we have the bottom of 1, 2, 3 wicks, creating a nice little bottom of a trend here that we are clearly bouncing off of wick wise. No matter how many times we try to push down into it, we keep bouncing off of this. If we break to the top side, we will test out the bottom, the top of this one, top of this two, the top of this one. No need to zoom in on this one because it just doesn't really have the range to really make it worth it on a weekly candle to zoom in. So very simple for American Airlines and smooth. I'll probably end up putting some money on myself. Abercrombie and Fitch. Now, this is something that I always show in my one-on-one sessions when it comes to support and resistance back when this thing was around $19. And look at it now. If you remember that session, some of you that are watching this remember when it was still underneath $19 and I was showing y'all about support and resistance and algorithms and how things can change. ANF is one of my favorite tickers to show that on. We're not going to get into it now, but we have a beautiful actionable signal here happening all the way up at $180. Oh my God. It was at 19. It was at 19. You think I'm playing with you? You think I'm playing with you? I'm showing too much. Okay. Daily is where the price targets are going to be found. Top of this massive two down, top of this wick of this two, and the top right here. I'm not reaching up for the tip top because this could be the false break and the real algorithm could be in here because we couldn't get past it. We couldn't get past it. We hit it right here. And this might be the spot that we start having some trouble with before we get to the top right there. So that is why it goes to that and not to the tip top of that too. ANF looks really great for calls on the weekly. Like, oh my gosh, really good, especially where it's starting off at pre-market. It's very exciting. Please don't gap. Okay, thank you. Good prayer. Good prayer, everybody. AR, one of my favorite grocery stocks to trade. Major exhaustion in this candle. This is a beautiful pin bar if I've ever seen one. Oh my gosh. And if it breaks that weekly entry, then we can find price targets on the daily right here, and then I did zoom in. I zoomed into the hour because I wanted to see, I'm not trying to chase this thing to the ends of the moon, but where could it go, right? Where could it go? And zooming into the hour and looking back, we can see that there is some congestion right in here. So we'll test the bottom of that failed, or it's not failed too soon, the bottom of this two right in here, where we can see we're staying above this algo. This purple royal algo. Remember, royal for me just means it's royal, really important. And the bottom of this two down right in here, where we can see that we also are having a little bit of a decision being made, so to speak, right? Where we're trying to figure out what direction we want to go every time we get right into this spot. So we'll see what it does when it gets there, if it gets there for AR. But looking at my charts, I don't know you like that. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, seriously, stop. What are you doing? What are you doing? Nah, I'm just kidding. Look at this one. It's Meta, and Meta's got some major exhaustion on it as well. And so I'm looking at the daily time frame for some PTs on this bad boy right here. Come on, Mark Zuckerberg, give us some monies, please. Bam. Bottom of this, because look at how this wicks through it, bounces off of it. This is going to be an important spot we're going to test out. Then we'll test out the bottom of this too, which we can see is wicking through it here. Oh, but we're not done there. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got one more for you. Look at all this craziness that we are right here, wicking it, wicking it, wicking it, wicking it, wicking it, breaking through, oopsies, wicking it, breaking, wicking it. Come on now. Gotta have your eyes on the prize. And even over here, this is wicking it to the downside. So that is going to be where price target 3 is coming from off of the daily. Just by looking a little bit more to the left, you can see this is going to be a very important spot. Then we'll get to the bottom of this as well, where as you can see, if I put this bad boy on it right there, boom, look at how important it is. All in here, you can see it a lot clearer now, can't you? I've given you division, not division, like a line between two dots. Shut. Okay. And then the last one right in here. As you can see, that algorithm ended up switching for a moment, pushing it to the downside, and then finally breaking and gapping up. So that is what I'm looking at for Meta, and that concludes the weeklies. The weeklies have some really great setups. So if you're a swing trader, you're going to like everything that we're looking at from the weeklies. We're getting ready to go into monthlies, and then we're going to close things out with quarterlies for all the people that want to make like big money. Quarterlies is definitely where to do it. Quarterlies, you can make like stupid money by just letting it sit for a few days. Sometimes you don't hold it the whole quarter. Like the only time I've ever held something until like the end of a contract really was like a monthly. Um, and it did very well. So that's why I was holding on to it because it was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm in the money when I bought this thing so far away from out of the money. Anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent. Welcome back. Hope you're enjoying your coffee. About to have some myself. So monthly for coin, good golly, Miss Molly, look at that. Look at that failed too, right? So we're gonna see that, identify the stop entry. Price targets are going to be found in the weekly. Right here and right here. pretty easy, right? We can see the wicks going through this area right in here. Right in here, we can see that there is like a decision being made around this area as well. And you can see that decision still trying to be figured out right in here in this one around the same area. So we're gonna notify this is gonna be PT2. Now this is gonna be where we start things off with coin. Coin might be pretty expensive, but just keep your eye on Bitcoin and news for crypto and stuff. And coin tends to follow that news pretty easily. Shout out to my man Roger, who predicted coins massive rise. What was it, somewhere over here in November? What was it, February? Oh my gosh, I don't know. But he got this thing and made like a nice little 7,000% return on it. So shout out Roger. Props to you, Roger. Just give you a little knocks, man. Much love. So we'll see if we can make some money with that. Ooh, C is already gapping on us on the monthly. Calm down, C. Calm down. Calm down, bro. Give us a chance. Don't leave this bus station without us. I'm trying to get a ride. Trying to get a ride, bro. Beautiful failed two on it. You look at the weeklies, it's going to be where we find our price targets. Top of this swing high right in here, and then zooming all the way out to here, we can see it right in here, right in here, and then right in here. And these are all areas where it was shooting up and then came down, shooting up, and then came down. It was shooting up and then came down, shooting up, and then pow, came down, right? So these are called swing highs. It was swinging high, and then it started the swing. Normally goes like this. This is a swing low and a swing high. Cool. Let me change that back to the Z monthly. So not quite a failed two. Definitely has more buyer control in it. This is for cat. So we'll see what Caterpillar gives us. Weekly is going to be where we find our price targets for it. This is just a classic case of steps. Like I was saying before, where would you have your stop loss? Here, here, and here. Classic case of steps, where because it just bled down. So we have to, that's what I call it, just the steps. It just looks like it's like stairs going up. Very easy to put your price targets. Very easy to put your price targets. Now, Oxy, we did have a good look at the daily, but the monthly is looking very bullish. So we'll see what happens here, right? And this says daily. This should totally say monthly. Erpsh. Beautiful fail too here. Let's get the weekly, right? Weekly, bang. Right in here is going to be our first price target. And it makes sense if you look over here in this area, lots of wicks through this area. Price target 2, price target 3 and 4 were off of this and this, the actual monthly candles. Last price targets here, and I ended up zooming into the daily for this one right in here, which you can see we have a wick through, and all this conjunction wick in the bottom of it, wick in the bottom of it. So this is going to be a very important price for us to test that algorithm out on, or a very important algorithm for us to test the price out on. Excuse me, this is my second time filming this, and it is now 5:29 in the morning. I don't know what happened to the other video. Like every time I tried to look at it, it just like wouldn't play. And I tried to upload it, like nothing was there. It's very strange. PG looking very exhausted for 2 months in a row. So this could be the big break for the downside. People decide to finally take their profits where the bears finally win. Rock on. And as you can see, because we were just bullish, we just got a classic case of steps. PT1, PT2, PT3. It's actually bottom of this too because the 1 and the 3 wick off of that. And we're looking for that early wick because that's where the algorithm really is, not the last one. Starbucks, I am so excited. I'm gonna get so much coffee next month, all off of this play because Starbucks has been bleeding. It's been bleeding, and it is looking to continue that. And on a monthly scale, I'm excited for it. Price targets can be found classic case of steps here, here, here. And then I did zoom into the daily to see what's going on between that area because that is where it was swinging low. So let's see, let me zoom in a little bit. Look at the wick off of it here, the wick off of it here, the wick off of it here, the break, the wick, the break, and then the bam finishing above it, and then finally going. So that's where that in the middle price target is for this monthly play. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited for Starbucks, like foaming at the mouth for my espresso right now. QCOM looks really good. Love the setup on QCOM going into the weekly time frame. We have PT2, PT3, PT4, PT5 being found here because we were just so bullish. It's a classic case of steps. And again, when we zoom into the daily to find that first price target right in here, because I want to be aware and have as much data as I possibly can. So I did zoom in for that one. And it's a healthy $4 away. So as an early price target, $4 is a great early PT. You'll be sitting pretty, especially if you take the suggested strike price that I gave you. Hold on, Brennan. My dog's ready to come inside. She's been chilling in the backyard for about 2 minutes now. I don't know why that's there. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that was for, that was another one. There we go. Boom. I'm actually really excited for Velo, right? We're going to supply and demand a whole other time. I don't really want to break it down in this video, but this is something I've been looking at for a little while. I kind of wish I got in a little bit earlier, but this is a beautiful setup. We'll start on the weekly. PT1 being found at the top of this one. PT3 and PT4 or excuse me, PT2 and PT4 are found on the daily. You saw where PT3 was right here. This is where PT2 is because look at this, how it just cannot get and stay above this area. So that's going to be what we test out. Last price target right in here where we can see all the congestion switching. And this is where the algorithm breaks to the upside and finally where it continues to the downside. So monthly on Velo looks amazing. And for those that are wanting to make some real big money, we're going to get into our quarterlies. And if I had a soundboard, this is where I would start playing some Busta Rhymes song about money right now. I don't know, whatever. He had to be there, I guess. It's a good time. Allstate, whatever their slogan is. Never mind, they're not sponsoring me, so I take it back. Quarterly, failed 2. Monthly is where actual signal price targets are going to be found in here. We zoomed into the weekly. Bam, bang, boom, boom, right in there. Bang. This is for that other second PT. So that's why those PTs are there for AAL on the watch list. This is, gosh, like Baba, like goodness gracious, this pin bar is just amazing. It looks so good. Really looking forward to this one. This is definitely going to be something I'm jumping into. If we can break this low, then we're definitely going to start checking out some of these, which are lows that can be found on the monthly as well. And just a classic case of where people are going to start having to fight their positions for calls or liquidate themselves. So we'll see. Cat with that failed 2. This is why it's on it in multiple ways. So the quarterly entry is at the same place that the monthly actual signal stop loss is. So either way this goes on a bigger time frame, we have an actual signal for it on the monthly to take calls. We have an actual signal for puts on the quarterly, so we can make money in any way from cat. As long as it doesn't stay a 1 this whole time, we're good. So we'll see what it brings to us. Price targets can be found on the monthly. Bam, boop, bang. Remember, steps. If it's just bullish, then you're just going to go where stop losses are. So really, really easy to find the price targets on cat. Target. Beautiful fail 2. Love that it's staying beneath this trend right here that is working out on so many different time frames. That's what's so great about trend lines and broad information. This is they really are respected on multiple time frames. This is definitely something found on a lower time frame that is being respected on the higher time frames. As we can see, even all the way back here, it was so beautiful. Look at this, how it's saying, oh my gosh. So if we can break through this, this is really great because we will also be breaking two trends. So we'll have volume on our side. We'll have massive, massive pressure on our side when we break through those. We'll come test out this low right in here, and then we'll go beyond that due to the range of the actual candle. And we can see where price targets are here, 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 and here. Excuse these broad informations and trend lines. These are just things that are on the daily and lower that whenever we zoom out into bigger areas tend to just look like up and down lines, but they are very important and I'm not deleting them because these are my charts and I like my charts. Remember, the more information you have on your charts, the more data you have. The more it is, it's not like an indicator, something you've drawn out yourself, the better it is. Awesome. So then Z, 3 month, not quite a failed two, but definitely looking to push to the upside with this pen bar in here, showing that it is the buyers that have majority of control due to this wick. Don't look at this wick and be like, oh, well, the sellers just, whatever, whatever. We're not looking for puts. We're looking for calls. Look at the buyers controlling this thing. It's ridiculous. They're so strong. If it does break to the upside, then we're going to come test out things on the monthly time frame right here, right here, right here, and right here. Now it's like a big step up here to this area, which is why before that step, we go to the left and you got to see which one is in here. So hopefully I see that, we see that, and we can keep going. EA, it's in the game. I said I wasn't gonna do that. I said I wasn't gonna do that. Failed to. Don't have to zoom in at all for these wicks, just due to the range of the candle and where there already are a lot of wicks here on the quarterly candles. Big wick right in here. 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 If we break to the upside, we gotta be cautious of these wicks. Simple as that. Don't even need to zoom in for EA. It's on the ground. I didn't say it. You said it. I didn't say it. It was you. HAL. Now, we made money on this bad boy before. We took out like two price targets. So it's setting up another actionable signal on us again, going into the monthly time frame for this bad boy to find where price targets are. We have price target 1, price target 2 off of this one. You can kind of see the wick off of it here. The 3 kind of wicks, it closes above it. Little contention on it right here and trying to decide what it wants to do. Finally, another wick off of that area here. And then the bottom of this 3, bang, bang, clean it up. That's going to be where big algorithm is. I don't really see HAL going lower than that. So that's where I cut off that final PT for me. And I'm not going to be chasing that thing to Timbuktu or anything. I truly think that that's going to be where it goes. These wicks down here are not anything that I'm going to be chasing. Tesla's 3 month looks, oh my gosh, right? It's the best way I could describe it. If somebody was like, how would you describe, um, your future wife? I would be like, oh my gosh, right? And if somebody was like, hey, how would you describe the 3 month setup using the strat and the 2-2 reversal on Tesla? I'd be like, oh my god, right? Because it just looks so good, right? So beautiful failed 2 on us. It's looking to come test out these highs again. Moving into the monthly, we can see that there's a early price target where we had a lot of trouble getting above this area. When we finally did, look at this wick. Can't ignore that, right? In the top of that too, then yeah, I zoomed in. I zoomed in a lot because Tesla's just one of those things, just can be wild. And so I want to know everything about it. So I went to the freaking daily, y'all. I went to the daily for this 3-month candle play to find price targets, but hopefully I can help me make some sense of it with me, right? PT1, look out, we can't get beneath this. We try a couple times to reach down here, we don't quite get to it. And then as soon as we do break it, look at how we wick off of it, right? Here's the wick. Here's the wick. Come on now. Come on now. You mean we gap, close the gap to the penny, then shot right back down? We're going to come test that area again, and we're going to see what happens to it because feast your eyes to the left. Over here, wicking through it, touching that again, and finally breaking through it. This is going to be a very important area. Would have only seen it if I was here on the daily. Oh, you're here with me. Let's keep going. Next price target, bam, off of this bad boy. Now this one's a little bit easier to see because you can see in here how it has trouble getting beneath it, but you can also see it here, 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 here. And then we have a nice little gap. And oh my God, all the way out here, even it's wicking off of the same exact area and wicking off of it here as well. What we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is an algorithm, a very important one at that. And glad we're here on the daily. Now, next is going to be the top of this two in here. And I don't really need to draw this one out as much because by reaching out here to get it, we can see the wick through it here, the wick through the 3, it's saying, oops, coming right back down, wicking through it, wicking through it, wicking through it, wicking through it, finally breaking it, and then having a little bit of trouble before finally breaking to the downside, and then trying to test it up again, not being able to break through. Ladies and gentlemen, algorithm. PT number 4. PT number 5, the 5 of that. And that's why it's good to zoom in sometimes, and why if you take Tesla with me, then we will make some good money together because we're prepared. And I think that that's it. So yeah, that moves on to the, shout out to anybody that saw the first video I put out for the year. And you took Amazon with me. I took Amazon. I sold Amazon at price target 3. I didn't even bother chasing it to new highs. I was very happy with my profits. I took those and got the heck out of Dodge. Prime Day's coming up, so get ready for that. Shout out to all my Amazon players. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to cross my fingers, cross my toes, pray that this one doesn't get corrupted or whatever happened to my last video, and get it uploaded for y'all. So God bless. Welcome to Clutch Trading for all the new people that are here in the Discord. And if you're on YouTube, join us. God bless. I will see y'all in the next one. Let's make some freaking money this quarter. Yeah.